Linda. Medusa. Nabucco. Fish.
Oh, that's very interesting. Ah, those animals are very educated. Good.
When you really start to ascend, it is a completely different thing. And this is why many people who actually try to awaken end up in mental institutions or think that they're going crazy or cannot handle it, because you are exiting the matrix at this point. And what this looks like is that all of your clair abilities will come back. So that means clairsentient, your ability to feel the energies, your ability, clairaudient, your ability to hear voices, other dimensional beings can communicate with you, your ability to see with the third eye so you can see the other entities, your ability to smell and they can communicate with you in that way. And many of us, if we remain or retain some of our gifts, we get one or two of these abilities or have it sort of dimmed down. But the more you ascend, the more every single one of these abilities come on full blast. So when this happens, it makes it extremely difficult to be in the matrix anymore. So this is why it's pushing you out. And then this is why it's important to learn survival. So I would say all of those individuals who are living off grid, you can live off grid and still not be awake. Many that are living off grid now have not awakened yet, and it's their different process. Or you can be in the city, in the middle of the big city like I was, and completely awaken within it. But we all have our journey out of this. But what it actually looks like is really wild, and no one really tells you about the truth of it anywhere. And so basically those are of us that are being pushed into true ascension, you will not be able to be in the city, you will not be able to be anywhere near 5G or most other people because the energy is going to be too dense. However, you will learn methods of clearing the energy and shielding yourself enough to deal with what you are currently in. Okay, so everything is just a next or another step of the puzzle. But for example, if your clairsentient ability comes on really strong, it is a guiding force. All of these abilities are guiding forces to guide you out of the matrix and to give you back your powers and abilities. So when you have clairsentient abilities, for example, when you are around another individual or you're around city or just anywhere, like even if I go into parks that are outside of the city, I will still feel all of the entities, darker energies, everything I will be aware of in the environment. So you're going to be extremely aware of all the things that you were not aware of before when you were asleep. And so then you are tasked, you're not going to get the abilities this strong unless you have some powers that you have gained to control yourself. So this is going to be opening portals. So you learn to open portals and you learn to open them first after you have learned to master shielding and grounding yourself. And then when you do that, you can transit out energies within a place or space. And this is what grid work is. Now, I wouldn't recommend trying to run a field like this in extremely dense energy, like within 5G, but you can do it. But ultimately, our bodies are very intelligent systems that are guiding us out of the matrix. And so it's a journey, a transition, and it's not easy. And so imagine, all of your abilities come on full blast. You're hearing voices, you're seeing beings, you're feeling all of these energies in a very tangible way. and you become very sleepy or sick because you cannot handle all of this bombardment and stimulation at once. Because before, when you were asleep, you were numb to all of these things. So when you awaken and you ascend, you become very aware. You can also, at the same time, you see that everything is living. You connect with trees and plants as another living entity. You can talk with them. You can open portals through trees. Now, when you get to a certain level of this, you can actually open a portal, or you will see where the portals are on the land for you to travel this way. And most of the time it will lead you, and some of us, if we have the correct DNA, not all of us, will be able to just create portals through our own field that we can actually help other individuals transit out interdimensionally. So when you're Googling or you're scrolling through your Instagram feed over and over again for this information on Ascension, right? And it's telling you about Ascension symptoms, or you're just not feeling like this is not all of it. Like there is totally a cap and a false light programming that will keep you stuck. Eventually, we do all need to get off of these black mirrors, but in the time being, it is a way for us to get activated until we as an individual reach this other level of consciousness where we no longer feel the need, right, for the validation within it, for the community, or for the information. We can completely source that within ourselves, and we can communicate telepathically. This is the route of ascension. So when I woke up, that was one of the things that was told to me, that these black mirrors, these phones, were just in fact that they were going to remind us what we are capable of within ourselves. But if you go the route of artificial intelligence, you are basically giving all of your internal spiritual capabilities, what you can do, you're giving it away to something outside of yourself, which is the false matrix, the phantom matrix, the false god, whatever you want to call it. So this is it for today. I hope it's helpful.
Much love to everybody.
Sneaky dark psychology trick to make people comply with you and give you what you want. This is extremely powerful, so do use with caution. This technique is called reverse psychology. When you want to get someone to do something, instead of framing your question for a yes-based response, frame it for a no-based response. For example, instead of asking someone, "Do you have a few minutes to talk to me?" say this: "Is now a bad time to talk to you?" "No, I've got a couple of minutes." Both questions aim for the same results, but a question answered no gives the person a sense of control and security, which makes them more likely to agree to your request. Follow for daily psychology.
How long does alcohol stay in your system? Well, there's a couple of answers to that. Now, first of all, physically. Physically, it doesn't take alcohol very long to leave your body. And the reason for this is alcohol is poison for your body. And your body wants to get rid of it as quickly as possible. It's why you may notice that you pee a lot, or when you sweat, you can smell that yeasty smell of alcohol. It's your body, and more precisely, your body's organs are just get it out, because it's toxic for all of your internal organs. By 72 hours, it should be out of your system. However, then you have the psychological part. What do I mean by that? Psychologically and emotionally, it takes much longer for your body to adapt to not having alcohol habitually put in it. Alcohol affects your brain chemistry, your gut chemistry, your moods, your energy levels, and our bodies come to expect it. That's what we call cravings. So all of those things take a while, and that's several months to not having this habitual poison poured into it. And eventually your body just gets back to homeostasis. And all that means is just a state where all your body's functioning can just maintain stability and function as it needs to function without being constantly interfered with. That's what alcohol does to your body. It constantly interferes with your body's ability to do what it needs to do to function at an optimum level in the world. And if you want some assistance with that, make sure you hit follow and check the links in the bio.
I was on the phone to my ex-boyfriend the other night and he taught me this like life hack that I feel like the biggest idiot for not knowing for this long. So obviously when you have your AirPods in, it like picks up all of the shitty like sound like from like the cars and stuff. And he was like, it's so noisy, why don't you use like voice isolation? And I'll put it up here. I don't know if everyone else knew this and I just didn't know, but you can like voice isolate your AirPods. And this whole time I've just had them on general. And I did voice isolation. It was like crystal clear and like only picked up my voice. Only when I'm like walking to the gym, I'm like, oh, I can't call you because it's so noisy, like I'm next to the road. And then the other night I called my other friend and he was like, no, I can hear you so clearly. So if you're not doing this and you live somewhere that's like always noisy or your sound always sounds shit, do this. I'm like, I feel like the biggest idiot for not knowing.
I'm really surprised you use iPhones every day.
Ex-astrologer Angela Uchi exposes astrology in a way that you've probably never heard before. Listen to her testimony at the end.
Every zodiac sign is a demon. When you come into agreement with the zodiac sign, with the birth chart, the moon cycles, whatever, you are literally yoking to a demon of that particular sign or element because you are taking its identity as your own identity. You are coming into agreement with the personality traits that the zodiac assigns you, right? Signs you, the zodiac assigns you. So if you say, oh, I'm an Aries, just unpredictable and full of rage, that is you yoking yourself to the unclean spirit of that zodiac. Because demons are spirits without a body, they need a home. Astrological birth chart spoke the demonic prophecy of Gemini over me. And when I spoke that over myself, I was giving the spirit of double-mindedness permission to operate through me. And guess what I was? I was double-minded.
Be sure to hit that follow. I'll be bringing more light to the darkness.
What do you think about the zodiacs?
Hey, y'all remember this one right here? The guy that goes missing in Oregon? Watch this.
Guy goes missing in Oregon, and the last thing he caught on camera is terrifying.
Deschutes, Oregon. Well, close to Bend, Oregon. I brought the 8-person tent, or the 6-person tent. I haven't pulled this thing out in a long time, so I thought first of the season I should pull that out, give it a go. It's about that time. Sun is setting. It's about 8 o'clock. Should be dark out here in less than an hour. You can get a little bit over there through the trees. Beautiful night. Definitely going to be turning in early though. I've been woken up by god noises. Yeah, you can hear it. It's from that side. Sounds right outside the tent. There's something right outside the tent. That can't be. That's us. That's someone's messing around with the rocks out there. Jesus Christ. Leave me alone! Flashlight. Now I can't see a god thing outside this night vision. Jesus Christ. I don't know where the chased me off. Now I'm wandering the god darkness. Flashlight.
was that thing? Did you see it?
This fucking shit! What is this? Look at this! It's got tentacles! Tentacles in the movie! I think it's still alive, gee. What the fuck?
The ocean scares me, man. I mean, have you seen the type of stuff that lives down there? We're not even gonna talk about sharks, or sea snakes, or moray eels, or stonefish, or lionfish, or any of that. We're gonna talk about the giant squid today. Most of y'all have probably heard about this thing. This thing can grow over 35 feet long, and its eye is the size of a dinner plate. Just take that in for a second. A dinner plate for an eye. And the largest one was recorded at 43 feet long. Crazy! But hang on, there's more! So this is a colossal squid. It's apparently bigger than the giant squid and can grow over 40 feet long and weigh over 1,000 pounds. And you want to know what else? They have something that terrifies me. They have spinning hooks at the end of their arms. And you want to know what they use those spinning hooks for? Apart from hunting and catching their prey? They use that to fight sperm whales. Yes, this oversized calamari ring gets into life and death fights with the sperm whale. And sadly, we don't have footage of this because these fights go down kilometers in the water, which by the way is ridiculous that the ocean goes down that far, but the whales have scars to prove it. This is the best footage I could find. But you see all those little like scrapes and scars on their whale? That's from a colossal squid or a giant squid, because these whales will eat them both. I think what messes with my head the most is that this kraken, which was supposed to be a myth, is actually based off the giant squid or the colossal squid, either one. But the fact is, it exists! Which, God, I'm never swimming in the ocean.
Oh my god.
Here are 5 gut feelings you should never ignore. Number 1, if you are sensing danger. If you are ever out and your body feels uneasy and something just feels off, take it seriously. My mom always told me, never ignore those gut feelings. Those are your guardian angels trying to protect you. And it is better to be safe than sorry. Number 2, a feeling of excitement over an opportunity. That feeling of excitement is your intuition telling you that you are in alignment. Number 3, a feeling that you are not well. Your body always knows when something is wrong and it will give you signs. Don't ignore those signs. Please listen to your body. Don't hold things off until it's too late. Number 4, being drawn to someone. If you are drawn to a specific person, it is for a reason. It means their presence serves a divine purpose in your life. Number 5, synchronicities. If you keep seeing repetitive things continuously popping up, or you continuously keep hearing the same message over and over, whether it be in a song or from your friends, pay attention. There is no such thing as a coincidence.
You've probably seen this video of Terrence Howard asking how 1 × 1 = 1 if the whole point of multiplying is to make more of. This is actually a really fun question, and he's written a whole proof on it. So here's what happened. The easiest explanation is to just change the wording. Multiplication like 12 × 1 = 12 because 12 is happening 1 time. It's the same thing with 1 × 1 where 1 is happening 1 time. A more technical answer is when it comes to the kind of math we use in everyday life, there are 4 basic number properties. You might remember these from algebra class. The problem Terrence is having is he's completely ignoring the identity property. For addition, like 5 + 0, it means nothing is being added to 5, so it keeps its identity. For multiplication, it means that 5 × 1, 5 is happening only 1 time, so it keeps its identity. Multiplying 1 doesn't make more of. To dive deeper into that is to study pure mathematics. Basically, why do numbers do the things they do? It is an existential journey that will make you question the fabric of reality. My degree is in applied mathematics, and that was trippy enough. So trust me when I say you need to be a diehard for pure mathematics.
Wow, that's interesting. Very interesting.
Dreams are my reality, the only kind of real fantasy. Illusions are a common thing.
Divorce my husband. Why did I divorce my husband? I divorced my husband because I was making a certain amount of money. I divorced my husband because I thought I didn't need him anymore. I divorced my husband because I had this senior position at work and thought I held the same position at home. I divorced my husband because I thought I was better than him because I had my degree now. I divorced my husband because I thought a successful marriage meant I was here and he was down here. That is not success. That's fucking sickness. I found myself divorced and out there looking for love in all the wrong places. Fucking this one and that one and that one and that one and this one and that one. And my body count going up and my value going down. I'm just going to call it like a TI is. All the while, my husband done found somebody else building a relationship and building a life with them. I should have stayed married to my husband. I felt like I was on this dark road with no street lights, pitch dark, and I couldn't find my way and didn't know which way to go. I felt lost. I felt like I was walking barefoot on that dark road with pebbles and hot rocks sticking my foot. I felt hurt. I felt alone because every time he and that one and this one and that one left my bed, I was alone all by myself. And which was supposed to be soft and comfortable for me, my pillow, it was now filled with tears. I should not have left my husband. I am filled with joy.
No, that's a sad video. What do you think?
Shaquille O'Neal has been to every zoo in the world, and they all have one thing in common.
True story.
Yes.
I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
I done went to every zoo in the world. I went to every zoo in the
You've
world.
not been to every zoo in the
I've
world.
been to every zoo in the world.
Okay.
And every time I go to the gorilla section, they look at me like, hey, man, where your fur at? No, for real. For real. That's how they look at me. And then they also look at me like, hey, what am I doing in here and you out there? And they always go crazy when they see me.
Right.
I promise you.
Get outside the glass.
I promise.
Shaq posted this clip on his Facebook for proof.
Yeah, let them have a chance to settle. Just nice and quiet, let them settle. Because it's fear.
Since Shaq felt his co-hosts didn't believe his story, he called the director of the Miami Zoo personally to validate his claims.
No, but y'all don't believe me, so I want to call my guy from the zoo. This is Ron McGill, the director of the Miami Zoo. Tell him what happens when I walk by the gorilla exhibit.
He gets intimidated and he looks at Shaq and thinks that Shaq's going to take away his girls. He knows who's the boss.
He thinks Shaq's gonna take his girls.
Shaq also shared a similar story while on the Impulsive podcast.
I'll go up to them and like I'll mess with them and like they all come to the glass and they all do this. Every zoo in the world. Like they just go crazy, they just go to the glass and go.
Oh, English people, like all the people of Earth, thanks for watching up to this far. You are very wonderful and loved. Love and care for your neighbor as you do for yourself. You see? Now there is this videos that has passed, a lot of interesting videos, but now these previous videos really touches my mind. See that people are amazed that that looks creepy. You see here we live with all types of animals, like we do with humans, with love and respect and caring, because they help us a lot, like in traveling, carrying stuff, you see? Like even us here going to work there, you selling stickers, we use a donkey, and it's very interesting. You cannot imagine. Much love to everybody out there treating animals well and the universe. You are all very loved. Hit the like button, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and welcome to our family. Let's keep watching. Watch to the end. Good vibes only. Yo, let's go.
I wrote down every slang word that I heard just this week as a middle school teacher. Now, one of the jobs as a teacher is to stay on top of the middle school slang. Because if you don't know what they're saying, how do you know if they're like being inappropriate or not, right? But I'm gonna be honest, it's getting a little out of hand. Here's all the words I heard. And it is a massive list. Most of them I know, some of them I have no clue. On God, she ate that. Left no crumbs. Riz. Gat. Which does not mean get your act together. Look it up. Don't let them trick you. Phantom tax. Cap. Bet. Bruh. Gassing you up. It's giving. For real, for real. This goes dummy hard. Simpin'. You're not him, Mr. Lindsay. You're not him. Yeet. That's kind of an old one. Snatched. Pick me energy. Slay. Also kind of old. Dead ass. Drippy. And bussin'. That is 24 slang words. I don't know if I can keep up.
None of them
So
sounds.
this is Kenya's president making a presentation in front of the European Parliament. Pay attention, I'll show you something.
Instances where collective action has achieved what no single nation could accomplish alone. We are acutely aware that our decisions and actions will significantly shape the 21st century.
Very eloquent guy. He even does the thing of finishing on a strong dropping mic and getting a standing ovation. Watch.
For those who will follow our footsteps, I thank you.
There's a bit of a delay, but check this out. They stand and clap with such glee. Oh my gosh. Yay, wait for it. He's even walked to his seat. Yes, there you go. Yes, oh, show you. Sit next to me. Please sit next to me. This is so good. I loved it. This is so nice. So what was he doing there? Among other things, he was campaigning for a fair global financial regime. That was like 2 days ago. You wouldn't believe what these Europeans did. Actually, you might. The very next day, nearly all European countries voted against Africa's proposition for a fair tax regime. Check this out so you actually see it yourself. So this is the promotion of inclusive and effective international tax cooperation at the United Nations, item 16, It was the day after he had his conversation, right? So here's their voting, just so you know. So Albania, Andorra, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Bosnia, Bulgaria, then you come over here, Canada, Croatia, Cyprus, Chechnya, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Georgia, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco, Montenegro, Netherlands, New Zealand, North Macedonia, Poland, Portugal, Korea, Moldova, Romania, San Marino, Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Ukraine, United Kingdom, and obviously the United States. So irrespective of your politics, and I'm not trying to pick a side, that's not even about the local, whether it was Malawian or Zimbabwean or South African or Moroccan or Egyptian or Ugandan. This is just an African conversation. It's not a matter of the person who gave the speech. It's a matter of the people who want to act like they're supporting the continent and don't. Get to understand who your real enemies are. Enemies is maybe a strong word. I don't know what else the word could be. And it's clear it's going to get harder, not just because it's getting harder in general, but because it's getting harder because there's folks on the other side of the table who want it to be hard for you. Now, if you know any better than I do, stitch this video and educate us, because as far as I'm concerned, this is cognitive dissonance in its entirety. It's folks giving a standing ovation to somebody campaigning for something, then turning around and shooting it down, knowing that 1.5 billion people are going to be affected by it. It's a psychotic way of thinking, but it's unsurprisingly European. Educate me if you know better.
Anyway, much love to all humans out there. And
So here's a salty little fucking question for you, and it's simply this. If that whole line of thinking that, oh, it's your childhood, just get over it, and quit blaming your parents, and you're an adult now. If that whole line of thinking is accurate, then why is it I've had a successful counseling practice in Manhattan for the better part of the last 10 years, and across the US in the last 30 years, specializing in precisely that shit? If I have clients, and I do, who are heads of Fortune 100 companies, who run hedge funds, who are titans in sports, in military, special forces, in entertainment, in law and academia, why would they be coming to me if I specialize in that shit? I guarantee you it ain't for the delightful fucking personality I bring. No, it's because all of that fame, money, success that they have isn't enough to fill that giant fucking hole inside created by that very childhood. So has it occurred to you that your notion that that shit from the past doesn't matter is a bunch of shit, and it shows how little you understand of the power of parental imprinting? Have a kick-ass day.
By looking at someone's hands, not palm reading, not astrology, actual science called digit index ratio, you can begin to tell the beginnings, but not the end of someone's personality. Testosterone finger, estrogen, digit index ratio. I have high testosterone, low estrogen. So you could tell I'm more of a risk taker. I'm driven more by testosterone and oftentimes dopamine, which means I'm an explorer, novelty. But the main reason I say the 5 fingers is not the end of personality. This is the beginning of learning the science of reading people.
That's interesting.
It's said
that when they tested the orangutan, they found out he only had 3 DNA series. When they tested the gorilla, they found out the gorilla has 4 DNA series. He's a little smarter than the orangutan. They tested the chimpanzee, which is an ape, and found that he had 5 DNA series. Then they went all into the different races of the world. They went into Europe and tested the DNA series of the English, the French, the German, the Spanish, the Russians, and found they had 6 DNA series. Then they put all of this, what they found from around the world, on a map. It's called the intelligence map of the world, because they tested 116 different human groups and found their DNA series numbers. All of them, all over the world, have 6. And they showed that the English have only 6, and it's all into Europe, only 6. Went over into Japan and China, and they only have 6. Over into America, with a predominantly European, and they only have 6. Then they came to Africa. But when they came to Africa, found out that the African people have 9 DNA series. From here, just below the Shanghai Empire, down to the foot of Africa. All those 10 nations, of which African Americans descended from one of them. We have 9 DNA series. The greatest possibility of genius in our group. Now it's answered this age-old question. How can a people survive being told they're nothing for 400 years? Never allowed to learn that they came from beautiful cities and told they came from a jungle. How could a people survive? How can a people become champions in everything they touch? Because they have 9 DNA series, while the rest of the world has only 6.
Huh. It's not how many DNA you have.
Hold on. Sit down. Look at this. This is weird, right? Egyptian art is beautiful, but why does it look like this? You know what that is? That's your cerebellum. It processes visual information. I know, you're thinking, Mr. Static, that's a very, very good coincidence. It's very observant that you saw that. But look at this. This is the optic chiasm. The front of it is a diagram of how your eyes connect to it. Okay? 2 for 2. Still a coincidence. Let's look at the beetle. The scarab symbolizes protection of the brain. That's why the cranial sutures line up perfectly. The beetle's wings line up perfectly with the 2 hemispheres of the brain. The 2 hemispheres process this information and relay it to the cerebellum in the back. That's what those balls are. If you do an MRI scan, it looks pretty close to a beetle. The legs being those nerves that plug your consciousness into reality. If you like that, I got 40 more of those. Hidden History is finally complete. If you follow that link, you can get access to all of them right now.
Oh. Okay.
Alright everybody, you have now successfully grown your own lion's mane mushroom. So a lot of folks have asked me, how do you pick this mushroom? So I'm going to show you. So it's oriented a little bit different than it's going to be on your grow kit, but the effect is basically the same. These mushrooms come off very easily. You do not want to use a knife. You just want to peel them off of the block like so. That's ready. Throwing it in a case. It's going to go to a happy customer. One thing I forgot to mention after we were so rudely interrupted by our humidification system is you then take this to the cutting board and you clean it up there, and you're going to remove the substrate on a cutting board. Now what I want you to do is come back to your block, and I want you to kind of pinch off whatever pieces of this tissue that are right around the opening you can get. That's good enough. If you can, kind of close up the plastic again, and then you're going to start over so you can get another flush of mushrooms, and that's what we want. We want your
That's something also very
Brown sugar
interesting.
versus white sugar. What's the difference and which one should you use? As you all know, sugar is mainly made from sugarcane. We essentially crush up the sugarcane, extract its juices, and boil it down where it becomes a thick paste, and that is molasses. If you keep going and let it dry out, this form is called raw cane sugar. It's usually marked up in price and sold in supermarkets in the healthy section, but funny enough, it's just regular sugar pulled from early in the refinement process. Now if you continue down the refinement process, you eventually get to white sugar. And here's when things get kind of interesting. Your traditional brown sugar is actually white sugar with its molasses added back into it. Kind of like how Pringles makes its own chips by boiling potatoes into a mush and then baking it, forming Pringles, instead of cutting up potatoes and frying them straight. So the next big question is, which sugar should you use and what's the real difference? The key to this answer lies in molasses. You see, molasses itself contains a bit of moisture, so when you use it to bake, the extra moisture from the molasses will affect the end product. I tested out this by using all three sugars to make some meringues. Funny enough, the airiness of the meringue wasn't affected at all. However, an interesting thing is the flavor. White sugar tastes significantly more sweet at the same amount compared to brown or unrefined cane sugar. I suspect that because the molasses itself is a little bit less sweet and also slightly bitter, so that counteracts the sweetness, toning it down a little bit. But when I made the scones, the textural difference was very noticeable. White sugar tasted way drier and way more flaky and airy, while unrefined sugar tasted way denser and moister, which was by far my more preferred one. Brown sugar, on the other hand, was right in the middle, leaning more closer to the white sugar one. Does that mean every baked good that you use white sugar it will be automatically airy and dry? Of course not. Adjusting other ingredients will help compensate that process easily. This is just there so that you can adjust existing recipes according to your favorite ingredient. So if you have the exact same recipe and then you want it a little bit moister, add a little bit more unrefined sugar. If you want it a little bit more airy and lighter, add a little bit more white sugar. All other ingredients considered equal.
Hey, thanks for watching up to this far, man. Big up to yourself if you have reached up to this far. Hit the like button, man. You are loved and respected. Share love all over the globe and respect and caring. All that. Good vibes is what you're all about. You see, now this video has reminded me of another video we did the other day when I was eating the sugarcane, and now some people like Tom Young's daughter was eating a baseball bat. What did you call it? And that was very surprising. Too many English people who don't have close encounters with sugarcane. Only UFOs. That really surprises me. Anyway, much love to everybody out there. You are loved and respected. Those things, those all types of sugars, you have them here readily. You cannot imagine what sugarcane juice tastes like. Oh my god, it's very delicious. Only that I cannot make you taste it. But let's keep watching, man. You are all loved.
We turn on the TV. At this point, we didn't know that anything was wrong or anything was any different than the era we had come from. Except, of course, in 1943, we didn't have large screen color TV. This happened to be a wall-mounted unit, smaller size but color.
Time traveling is a phenomenon that has excited scientists since the beginning. And while they understand the infinite possibilities of moving through a wormhole, they don't have the ability to access one physically. But what if we told you that someone has already achieved the impossible? What if we said someone managed to travel back and forth in the timeline and witness the future? Meet Al Bielek, the man who traveled through space and time, unlocking the mysteries of time travel that others have only dreamed of. When Bielek returned home from the future, he described a very different world and revealed shocking prophecies. And believe it or not, it's time for his predictions to come true. Stay with us as we explore the unbelievable life of Al Bielek and his time-traveling experiences and learn what he saw in our future. According to popular legend, in 1943, the U.S. Navy undertook secret experiments based out of the port of Philadelphia. These experiments aimed to test Einstein's unified field theory and attempt to make a naval ship invisible. While most conspiracy theorists debate the existence of the Philadelphia experiment, an alleged survivor, Al Bielek, maintained that the Navy had another purpose altogether. They were only interested in time travel. In 1990, Bielik claimed that he spent time in separate periods of the future only to return to the present and tell his story. Bielik was born in 1927 to an ordinary yet wholesome family. He was a peculiar child by his own words, and his first memory came at a Christmas party when he was just 9 months old. He recalled understanding what the adults in the room were talking about, an astonishing feat for an infant. Wouldn't you agree? As he grew older, his knowledge of the world increased to the extent that he was called a walking encyclopedia among his classmates. At the age of 16, Bielik joined the Navy to help fight the Nazis and was just a lowly naval officer serving aboard the USS Eldridge in 1943. However, he had no idea the unusual fate that awaited him aboard this ship. The Eldridge was supposedly harboring the Philadelphia experiment. One day, August 13th, 1943 to be exact, Bielik and his brother witnessed an odd happening on the ship. Scared of what was unfolding in front of their eyes, the two jumped from the ship but never touched the water. Instead, they landed in the year 2137. When they jumped overboard, they expected to hit the water in the bay and swim ashore, but they kept falling for a long time without ever hitting the water. The two had no idea what was happening.
That's a creepy story, man.
It's looking like 2024 will be a massive year for UAPs, NHI, and maybe a bit of disclosure. Check this out. The Schumer Amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act would require any and all recovered UFOs and biological evidence of non-human intelligence that may be controlled by private persons or entities to be handed over to a Senate-appointed review board. This is official government documentation. The Senate also has a plan for disclosure, and here's what it says. Phenomenal. The President will be given, if this passes, 90 days to create a review board. Government agencies would then have only 300 days to turn over any UAP records. And not only that, after that, they would have 180 days to review the records and 14 days to release the findings. This act also establishes eminent domain over any technology of unknown origin or biological remains from non-human intelligence. Eminent domain basically allows the government to take over private property for the public good. So if there's UAP, non-human intelligence in warehouses somewhere in private companies, the government can get access to them. In other words, if aliens land in your backyard, you will not be able to keep the bodies or the UFOs. I'm sorry. The NDAA also mentions non-human intelligence no less than 25 times. Let's repeat that. The US National Defense Authorization Act speaks of non-human intelligence 25 times. There's also been some other chatter, which is leading people to believe that things really may be going down in 2024 regarding UAP. Lou Elizondo, on the 14th of October, just a couple of days ago, tweeted the following. Howdy folks, just a quick update for you to consider. Please know that ongoing efforts are underway that will reveal themselves by early to mid-2024. At the risk of haters trying to sabotage our efforts, I can't be precise at this time, but if you have learned anything over the last 5 years, I never make empty promises. Trust me, it'll be worth it. What does this mean? Is there really quite a lot happening behind the scenes? It's certainly looking like it. Not only this, but the highly respected investigative journalist Ross Coulthard had this to say in a recent podcast on That UFO podcast. Check this out.
If the key legislation passes the Congress, if we get the NDAA, the National Defence Authorization Act, and the Intelligence Act passed with the UAP reforms in them that mandate that Congress be informed about the legacy UAP program, if it exists, of course, then I'm very optimistic that by the end of next year or the year following, early the year following, we'll have an idea of what's been going on.
Yo, English people, everybody out there of the world, thanks for watching up to this far, man. You are all loved and respected. And that gesture of you watching up to this far and hitting the like button without even having met me anywhere or knowing me, That is a gesture of good love, and it shows you are a wonderful human. May the universe reward you accordingly and in generous way you have never imagined. Please, from wherever you are, share out to those around you and caring, because we are all one despite all these colors and everything. From wherever you are, make the world a village in the comment section. Say something. You are all loved, man. My heart goes out to you. Your support means everything to this channel. You are all loved. Bye bye. Till we meet next time. Keep it tuned for another fire episode.